It's a fully loaded question. I'm super proud of myself. I'm proud of all the hard work that I put into it. I'm really glad that someone different won this competition, and I had so much help and support throughout it too, so I'm just really glad for everyone that was there for me. You know, we pulled through too. Winning was obviously very exciting, but the final lip sync had this energy to it that I hadn't felt throughout the entire competition, despite having lip synced many times, where I just like felt very confident. I enjoyed the song. I knew at that moment that whatever happened, this was the last time I was going to be on the stage for the gauntlet, so that was most exciting. I think the hardest part of the competition for me was a couple of things. One was definitely managing all of my ideas. I have, 2 weeks to produce them and limited resources and time. Trying to navigate that and sort of fine-tune your ideas in order to fit the stipulations of the competition. I think another hard thing was just feeling confident in yourself. Some of my favorite things that I did in the competition were ideas that other people I ran them by maybe didn't think they were the best ideas. Being able to know that you should stick with your gut and go with your instincts and do what feels good to you. That struggle every week was pretty hard. What surprised me the most was like the connections that I made with other people. I went into it wanting that and wanting to feel more a part of the community, but I'm just surprised at how genuine that turned out and how much I love like every single one of the people that I encountered. I was really surprised at, the open arms that I was greeted with. Day to day, I didn't think about it as much, but it was definitely clear at times that I was the only one who was different in that way. I definitely, throughout the competition too, had this mentality where I was like, I don't know that they will give this crown to me no matter how well that I do. I mean, obviously that wasn't true, but it was definitely a thought that was in the back of my head a lot, and I think impacted how confidently I walked into certain challenges. The only places I had performed were like known queer spaces. Like they have seen an AFAB performer before. And just to like feel how warm everybody was in that crowd to me, and getting to know all of the people that work at Jocks and who perform at Jocks regularly, and just to feel accepted and like feel like they understood my drag was really something special. It showed other people that they can show up and perform there too. People have told me like, oh, I feel like I can start drag now because I saw you doing it, and I think that's super special. I wish I had seen someone when I was like 21 who was a woman doing drag, so it's cool. It is hard. You're focused on performing your best, leaving it all on the stage, and then there's also this feeling and thoughts in the back of your mind like, I don't really want to see this person go. I want to do really well, but I also don't want to send this person home right now. The hardest lip sync for me was Reflection with Miss Veronica Snatch. I think I cried during the whole time. The twist was really hard too because I felt personally that she did a lot better than me. Then when it was up to Atlas to pick somebody, it just was like really tense and hard, and I cried a lot, and we had worked so hard and so well together that week that then they pit us against each other. That's just evil. It was evil. That was the hardest lip sync for sure. Yes, the first week I was riding home in my car with Miss Secret Queen. I cried the whole way home, and I thought that I had like everything together when I went into that. I went into it so confident, and I was told that I was not even not good, but like bad. To go in the first challenge and be told like, I don't know girl, it felt like everyone was like, okay, Kirbie's going home next, and that's that. I just like really was ready to give up after that one. But I don't think any other time in the competition, even when I didn't do so well or when it was hard, I had learned that even when it was hard, it was worth it to keep going. hated this challenge. When I got the challenge, I was like very intimidated. So it was warrior and swamp, and for some reason that felt really difficult to me. I knew my strengths were like dancing, and I thought I could put together a good look. Kirbie was wearing a strappy black long sleeve bodysuit. It was covered in moss, which like I thought that was it. It was hot glue and moss, like it was the end of the world. I made a tulle skirt with like green tulle and some like shiny green fabric, and then just like also covered all of that in moss. The thing I did like that I made was a crown, and it was just like a mossy succulent crown, which was really cool. And I styled my first wig that week. It didn't come together as I wanted for sure, and I would never wear it again. The second challenge was a good versus evil challenge, and I was paired up with Miss Atlas. I at first was intimidated by working with Atlas. She had just done pretty well in the first challenge. I did really poorly. I felt super self-conscious. I like kept apologizing to her, being like, I promise I'm not gonna be at the bottom again. So we decided to do a Powerpuff Girls parody. So I was the Powerpuff Girls and Atlas was him, was the devilish evil villain. I loved it. We had the best time and it came out so well. The details were right. I made puppets, we had dry ice. It was just perfect. Like Atlas's look was spot on. Mine was too. It was like around the time of the Bratz challenge, the Bratz eye makeup challenge from the internet. So I drew on like really big under eye to like give that sort of cartoonish effect, and it came out really, really nicely. I think we just really slayed that, and obviously we did because we won that one. I was like, okay, another group challenge. It went well the first time, but there's more people. This is gonna be more complicated. But I was honestly really excited because who doesn't love a witch theme? That's just fun. We really worked together. I mean, the first thing we did, Miss Veronica Vandersnatch is the most organized person you'll ever meet in your life. She was like, let's get a Google Doc, like we're gonna put it all on paper, everyone can contribute and we'll narrow it down. We knew that Veronica had this beautiful Winifred costume. I think Poise originally wanted to do Ursula and had a look for that, and we were like, okay, this is going places. For the challenge, I was the bad witch Miss Bellatrix Lestrange from Harry Potter, and she was like a natural choice for me because I love her always. And she's like the definition of evil, so she came to my mind once we started talking about like doing like infamous witches. So we were bad witches, and we also had to have an element, and my element was earth. Okay, so she's dead, she's coming out of the ground, and she's getting her power from the earth that her body was laid to rest in. I think we deserved to win. Our concept was more fun, more entertaining. Poise's performance was amazing as Samara. Obviously Miss Vandersnatch as Winifred was legendary. Like everyone had a really good night. To take 5 people from very different backgrounds, different drag, different ideas, and come up with a concept that really worked and was good. I loved that. I'm glad we got the opportunity to do that. I was really excited when Snatch Game came. Who doesn't love Snatch Game? I chose Trisha Paytas from YouTube. I felt like I could do her really well because she kind of has this like light tint that like I have, and she's funny, she's stupid, she would be a crowd pleaser, and I felt confident in my ability to like embody her. This costume was a reveal and I made it all myself. It was like the first thing I made entirely for myself, I think. So I made this like gingham pink dress with an apron, and in one of her music videos where she's talking about food, I think it's Fat Bitch, she wears this like 50s kind of waitress costume. So I ripped that off and I had basically recreated what she wore in the Shallow video, which was like a blue striped top, and she was wearing pants in the video, but like Kirbie doesn't wear pants, so I wore a blue midi skirt, and it was just, I thought it was so cute, and it was fun to like take it off and be like, this is what I'm doing now. I don't know, I was really happy with it. The results, Miss Marianne Lapoutaine, she did that. She deserved that. That was so funny. I still sing that break up with your girlfriend like all the time. And the look was right, the voice was funny, her idea was so good. She like, basically it was Big Ange doing karaoke. Like it was so good. She earned that for sure. So for the next challenge, we were girl groups, and it was girl groups from a certain decade, and my group got the 80s. This challenge was a doozy. The hardest part about working in a group challenge is coordinating schedules. We all have full jobs, full lives. For me, if we're gonna perform choreography together, that needs to be rehearsed at least 2 or 3 separate days. That's nearly impossible in a 2-week span. And my group was Marianne, Poise, Binks, and me. And the concept we came up with after many discussions was to do a Madonna inspired number. I was the Like a Virgin Madonna, so all white, fun, crimpy, short, dirty blonde hair, lots of like rosary bead necklaces. Yeah, I looked good and I liked it, but it just wasn't, the performance wasn't right. We were in the bottom this week and it was tough. We worked really hard. We spent a lot of time together. We rehearsed a lot. And I think just sometimes the idea you come up with isn't what the audience or the judges want to see that week, and other people were much stronger. So I knew when I first got this challenge, I was going to do a lot of talking, and I was going to sell something that was authentic to like the Kirbie brand. I wanted it to like speak to something that's important to me. All right, this is gonna be about big girls. We're gonna do body positivity on this one. So my outfit was this gorgeous gold gown, big sleeves, big shoulders. We gotta talk about the hair. Miss Secret Queen made me this gorgeous, this like fun little swoopy like housewife number that was just like perfect for HSN. And my makeup was like very lady on the TV selling you jewelry. And my friend Paige, she's a graphic designer, she like made me the labels. She made me a little sign so that like it was all put together. It was a butter that you rub on your body to make yourself thick. I had this idea and I was like, how am I gonna portray this on stage? And I was like, okay, get a skinny person, rub the product on her, fat person comes out. I had Miss Poison Envy, teeny tiny, in this big green wig, denim dress, rainbow furry coat, rubbed the product on her. She went backstage, and then the lovely, the beautiful, the delicious Miss Robin from HR came out in the exact same outfit, same hair. So that comparison of like Poison Envy to Robin from HR was hilarious. Well, I was top 2, but I thought I should have won. But no, I understood because Veronica's idea was so well put together, and I think like we had them equally well put together, but Veronica's execution was a little bit more clean. I also don't think they liked that I rubbed raw chicken all over the curtain, so fair is fair. She won that one, and she deserved it. Her idea was so good. When I first got this challenge, I was like, holy shit, that's a lot of stuff. It was 3 different things. So it was a like comedic roast of Amanda Play With, it was a comedy performance, Under the Sea performance, and then it was a runway. Everyone was kind of like, whoa, how are we gonna get this all done? I was really afraid to roast someone, not necessarily Amanda, there was a lot of content there. We had done like comedic performances, but it wasn't like, okay, let me stand up here and make jokes at you. Your mind goes to this place where like, oh, what if they don't laugh at my joke and I'm just standing up there? Ooh, my runway look. I loved this and I feel like it didn't get the credit it deserved. My friend Christian Restrepo is a Boston-based designer, like makes beautiful pieces, and I wore a overcoat made completely out of film strips, so like VHS film, and it just like the way it moved was so beautiful. And I was a sea urchin, so it sort of was like moving in the ocean, but also like black and dark. Akira Oni and myself made a headpiece together made of like all zip ties. I just think it came together really cool. I thought those were 2 like really powerful elements that I really liked. Oh, my comedy number was good. I liked it anyway. And I was fortunate enough to have Miss Champagne allow me to borrow her like Janelle Monáe pussy pants. I had made this like giant clam headpiece, big pink wig, all pink pussy pants, with a small pearl full of water right where you think it should be. And basically it was a nod to like female ejaculation. You should have watched the YouTube video because You can't really describe that. The next challenge was with my very beautiful, wonderful, talented friend, Miss Veronica Vandersnatch. Essentially, we had to take on each other's drag personas. I really liked what we came up with. I felt like Veronica was like so funny as Kirbie because we are so different in our drag styles. Veronica had just got this beautiful green like satin gown. I don't think I ever wore a gown before, so it was just like this wonderful experience of being like so cinched up in this beautiful big green gown, big brown, like natural brown hair. Obviously I don't really do natural colors that often, and just like the way she painted me was so like glamorous and like elegant woman. I had all these jewelry on, it was so fun to be somebody else. But yeah, it didn't go as we wanted it to. We were in the bottom, and that felt like really hard. What I hated the most is that I know that we put in so much effort and we practiced a lot and we really got into who each other's drag personas were. I felt in my heart that that would pay off, and I was sad that it didn't. I don't think that we did the worst. Might get in trouble, but I don't know that we should have been in the bottom two, and that's all I'm gonna say. What I hated was that we cried a lot on stage afterwards. And she went home. I'm a crafty bitch, like, so the thought of like using some alternative product was really cool. Well, actually, Miss Vandersnatch, I was talking to her and I was like, I don't know what like unconventional material to use, and she was like, what's something you use a lot?
What did you use?
I used menstrual products. I used tampons and pads, and I myself and Secret Queen individually dyed ombre pads and then painted and glittered individual tampons, and I made a crown, I made some earrings. It was wild. That is like, I am the most proud of that. We had to recycle a performance, and the obvious choice for me was the swamp because I did so terribly bad on that one. We were coming to the end of the competition, so I was thinking about like this whole body of work we had all created, and I was like, okay, I'm going to play on the fact that I have lip synced a couple times, just sort of like be like, hey, maybe I did, but I killed it, like lip sync assassin. I used the girls and the music that we had lip synced against each other too. So I had used Paris and we did Level Up. I used Poise and did Spice Up Your Life, and then Miss Vandersnatch and Reflection, and that one was fresh as hell. It was I came back strong that week for sure. I think I should have won. I really do. I think that like my runway look was more creative and original. No offense, Plain Jane. And her performance was fantastic, and I understand that, but I think that what I did was really original and cool, and it felt like a win, even though I didn't win. Being in the final four was crazy. I mean, I had confidence in myself. I thought my drag was like good when I started. I knew I could perform, and I also knew that it came really far throughout the competition and I had improved a lot. But I don't know, there was like kind of still this mentality of like, I don't know if I'm gonna win, like not even just because I'm AFAB, but it's hard for me to be like, I am the best, or I am doing the best tonight. But it felt surreal, and it felt, you know, I was really proud to be standing there with who I was standing there with. For the finale, we were challenged to do a pride ball. It was a pride runway gown look and a what does pride mean to you performance. What pride means to me is my friends and my queer community, and I went with that. I brought some of my favorite people on the stage with me, and they were the colors of the rainbow. So Akira Oni was red, Veronica was yellow, Sammy was purple, Atlas was blue, and Champagne was green. And I was just like so happy to have them on the stage with me, and I think that really read for the crowd. Felt like a party. We had balloons, we had confetti poppers, and I talked about like the other elements like that makes me feel pride or feel proud, like love and have sex with whoever we want, proud of my body, and proud to be unapologetically myself. And I think it read really well, and the crowd like really, really loved it. I had wrote a whole speech and I didn't get to say like half of it, but I don't think, I went into it being like, I am not better than all of them. We are all the best at what we are doing. Like, no one does Binks like Binks, no one does Marianne like Marianne, and nobody does Plain Jane like Plain Jane. But nobody does Kirbie like Kirbie either. So, you know, all I wanted was to make it to the finale. Like, that to me was enough to be like, okay, all this effort you put in was worth something. Not that it wouldn't be if I hadn't made it to the finale, but it felt really good to be there. I was super proud of myself for sure. When they had me standing next to Plain, I was holding her hand, I whispered her ear, I'm like, you're gonna kill this, like, you got this, like, congratulations, whatever. And then they said my name and I couldn't believe it. I think if you watch the video back, like, my face, my jaw must have dropped to the floor. I knew I had done well, but had also received some comments that like made me feel like maybe I wouldn't be in the final two. So I was really shocked, really shocked. And it took me a second, actually, like, thank God for Miss Secret Queen, because she was like, you need to go back there, listen to your music, calm the fuck down, and work that lip sync out. And I was like, okay. Fully anxious, like excited, but anxious. I kind of knew I had it, to be honest. I don't want to be cocky, but I have been dancing to that song since I was 10 years old. I love that song. I knew the moves I wanted to do. I had been practicing that song. Those words were perfect in my head. I knew I could put on a good show. The energy in there was crazy, and I just felt super confident, and I knew, like, this is it. Leave it all here. This is all you can do at this point, is like really put it all out there, and I think I did. I was just so grateful. Like, all I could think about was all the people that helped me throughout the whole thing, and they were all there. I could see all of their faces, and it was just so amazing. And I honestly could ask anyone for like maybe an hour and a half after that happened. I just was like, I don't know how I feel. Like, I feel weird. I feel not in my body. I was just so happy to be there, and I think, you know, not that like this local drag competition is, you know, this huge deal, but to me it was, and I think to our community too, because there had never been even an AFAB person in this competition, let alone someone different who won. So I think that that was really cool for me, and sometimes it's hard for me to like own that, or like own that I'm contributing something that matters, but I think that that's true, and it's okay for me to say that in that moment it felt like a big deal for me. Oh, hell yeah. Do Gauntlet. I would recommend Gauntlet to any other local queen or king or whatever. I think that Gauntlet was a difficult, stressful, challenging experience, but more so than that, it was beautiful. It pushed my creativity. It made me meet like the most wonderful human beings, and it showed me that I'm good at this and I should keep pushing myself. And I think even if I hadn't won, it would have made me feel more confident in my drag, and it made me feel more a part of this community. The good outweighs the bad tenfold. Like, everyone should do it. It's so much fun. To Candy, Amanda, and Violet Ultra, you guys put in probably more effort than any of us did. I know more effort than any of us did. I'm just so grateful. The way that Violet attended to every single one of us so patiently and with her whole heart. We couldn't have done it without her. To Candy and Amanda, the way you host the show is so entertaining, and the way you communicate with us throughout the whole thing is something you don't have to do, but you do because you care about this show and the way that it comes out. The effort and thought that you put into it is so clear. To the judges, Rocky, I learned a lot from you. Those little conversations in the basement, I heard things from you that I wouldn't have heard from anyone else. Chris Knievel, just the fact that you gave me tidbits of advice, that you talked to me, that you were so engaging and willing to support all of us girls. Again, it's not something that you had to do, but you went out of your way to do so. And Violencia, your judgment means so much to me, that you can like look at me and give a critique is so meaningful. And I think what you brought to the judges table was so important to all of us. Caitlin, I'm so glad I know you and got a chance to talk to you and hear your perspective on things. Your comedy input is so vital to that table, and I know that they're really gonna miss you next cycle. And just to all of you, the fact that you show up every week for this thing, there wouldn't be a show without it. And to all of my girls, my cycle 2 girls, I took away something from every single one of you. I'm so excited because I feel like, as silly as it may sound, this experience has created a connection between all of us. Y'all made me feel so loved and supported, and it's just so nice to have kind and creative and beautiful and original human beings to connect with and be inspired by. None of us would have done as well if it wasn't for like all of the talent pushing each other. Yeah, just thank you. Being the winner of this is crazy for me. What it means to me the most is representing drag that isn't RuPaul's Drag Race, representing people who aren't allowed in other spaces to do drag, and it's about inspiring other people in the community to do the same.